Hi everyone, welcome to the session. My name is Dipika Kafaltia. I'm your faculty and mentor for the CFP course, that is the Certified Financial Planner course. So in today's session, we are going to discuss a very important topic, which will be helpful for you in your entire CFP journey. Also, it will be useful when you will be doing real life financial planning. So let's see what this topic is all about. Let me share my screen quickly. So yes, today's topic is called time value of money. So we'll understand what time value of money is all about, and then we'll understand some key terminologies which are related to time value of money, and we'll do some calculations in Excel. So time value of money means that the value of money changes over the time or over the years. For example, if somebody gives you 100 rupee today versus somebody, let's say, gives you 100 rupee after 5 years, are these 200 rupees same? Do they have the same power? No, right? So basically, time value of money means that 100 rupee or any amount that you get today, and if you get equivalent amount in future, they are not equal. So if let's say, for example, if let's say I want to buy a car today, which is costing 10 lakh rupees. If the same car I want to buy after 5 years or after 10 years, do you think it will still cost 10 lakh? No, right? It'll probably cost higher than 10 lakh. And there'll be a reason responsible for that, which is called inflation, right? So inflation is one of the major reasons which leads to time value of money. So today we'll understand two reasons which are important, which are responsible for change in the value of money. So first, the reason, as I told you, is inflation. As time will pass, the goods and services that I need will become expensive. So the amount of money that I need today, I'll need a higher amount of money in future for the same thing. So if as a financial planner, my client tells me that he wants to buy a car after 5 years, or he or she wants to buy a house after 10 years. Now, I don't know what will be the cost of house after 10 years, but I have to plan this for my client. I have to tell him how much to invest today so that he or she can buy a house after 10 years, right? So I should have an understanding of how to extrapolate today's car's cost or today's house cost in such a way that I understand, I get a fair understanding of its price, its value after certain number of years or in future. So inflation is the most important reason, and we have been seeing inflation in our lives. We know how our parents, our grandparents have told us that in their times even 1 rupee was so powerful, a lot of goods could be bought in 1 rupee. We know that hardly a toffee comes in 1 rupee in our time, and in future things will become more expensive, right? So we have to plan accordingly. Second thing is the potential to earn returns, right? If you give me 100 rupee today, I can put it, let's say, in an FD, which will, let's say, give me 7% per annum return. As a result, my 100 rupee will become 107 after an year. So that means 100 rupee if I have today, I have avenues which will make this 100 rupee more than 100 in future if I invest it in, let's say, FD or shares or bonds, right? So this is another reason for change in value of money. So we have to do both the things for our client. We have to adjust inflation for the cost or price of the goods and services that they want to buy in future. We also have to invest our clients' money today so that they earn returns on it and the money increases in value over the years. So I hope the concept of time value of money makes some sense to you now. Right? So two reasons, inflation and potential to earn returns. They lead to change in the value of money over the years. Now, I'll tell you some terminologies which are relevant to time value of money. First one is present value. You can also call it PV. Okay, there is also a function in Excel with the name PV. Present value means today's worth of money. For example, let's say I take a loan of 1 lakh rupees. So I have received 1 lakh rupee today. So this is my present value. Or let's say I have invested 10,000 rupees somewhere today. So this money is also invested in present date, in today. So this is today's value. So this is present value. Okay. Similarly, the next term is future value. It is also called FV. What is future value? It is the worth of money at a future point. Worth of money at a future point. For example, let's say I invest again 10,000 rupees today for 5 years. Okay. In an investment that gives me 11% return per annum. I want to know if my money grows at 11% every year, how much will it become after 5 years? Okay. So this is called future value. Or like I said, let's say I want to buy a house today. The cost of this house today is 1 CR. I want to know that if, let's say there's an average inflation of 7% per annum. Inflation means, again, the cost of the house is increasing at a rate of, average at a rate of 7% every year. Then how much will be the cost of this house after 10 years? This is called future value. Now I'll also tell you how to calculate these future values, okay? Let's understand two more simple terms before we calculate future value from present value. One is called rate of return. Rate is your rate of return, right? So rate of return that we'll use in our calculations will be compounded. So there are two kind of rates, interest rates, like we have studied in our schools. One is called simple interest and the other one is called compound interest. So do you remember what is the difference between simple interest and compound interest? Simple interest is something where you earn interest only on the original principal that you have invested. Let's say you have invested 100 rupees. So in the first year, if let's say the rate of return is 10% per annum, okay? 10% per annum simple interest. So you will get, after 1 year, you will get 10% over this 100 rupees, which is 10 rupee interest. So your 100 rupee will become 110. In the second year, again, you will get 10 rupee only because you are getting interest on this principal amount. So your money will become 120. In the third year, again, you will get 10 rupees. Your money will become 130. This is called simple interest. What happens in compound interest is you get interest on your principal plus you get interest on interest. You earn return on return. For example, let's say you have invested 100 rupees somewhere. In the first year, it will be similar to simple interest. You will get 10 rupee because this is compound interest of 10% per annum. So your 100 rupee will become 110. In the second year, what will happen? You'll get 10% interest, but not on this. You'll get 10% interest on this, on the total amount which is there in your account. So 10% of 110 means this time you will get 11 rupees interest. So your interest will be higher than what you were getting in simple interest. Okay, so your 110 will become 121. Now in third year, you will get 10% return, not on 100 rupees, not on 110, but on 121, because this is the value which is there in your account. So this time you will get an interest of 12.1, which will get added to this. So it will become 133.1, and so on and so forth. So when we'll be talking about rate of return in our time value of money calculations, we'll talk about compound rate, right? Because this is normally the rate that we earn in our investments. So PV, FV, rate of return. One more concept called NPER. Okay, NPER means number of periods, which for now you can take it as number of years. So initially right now, whenever I'll talk about number of periods, we'll be talking about number of years. Later on, when we proceed into our calculations, we'll talk about number of quarters also, number of months. For example, somebody's, let's say, is doing a monthly SIP, right? Then his investment is happening every month. So that we'll do later on. Right now, NPER means number of years for us. So let's see that question again, that 10,000 rupees invested for, let's say, 6 years at 11% per annum, which is our compounded rate. How much will it become in future? I want to know. So what I'm trying to calculate, I'm trying to calculate future value. I'll tell you two ways to find out this. One is you can find it out through simple formula. So all of us have heard or used a formula in our schools, which is called amount is equals to principal into 1 plus rate upon 100 raised to the power time, which in short can be written as A is equals to P into 1 plus R over 100 raised to the power T. Now this same formula, I want to convert it into time value of money terms that I have just studied. Okay, so what is amount? Amount is something that you are going to get in future, right? So can I also say that this amount is actually your future value, right? What is this principal? Principal is the amount that you have invested today, right? So can I say this principal is actually present value? Then 1 plus, what is this rate? So in time value of terminology, I can say this is rate divided by 100. So I can say this is rate percent raised to the power time. What is time? Time is actually number of years, which is NPER in our case. Okay, so this is one formula of finding out FV when you have PV, rate, and NPER with you. Now in this question, if I see this 10,000 is actually present value, right? This 6 years is actually NPER, and this is your rate. And what you have to find out it is FV. Now let me put all these values into the equation that I have just found out, okay? FV is what I want to find. PV is 10,000. Rate is 1 plus 11%. NPER, how many years? 6, right? So I don't need to manually calculate it. I can go to Excel. Let me open Excel quickly. Yes, so let me solve this question in Excel. It becomes FV is equals to 10,000 into 1 plus 11% raised to the power 6, right? So take care of one thing. Whenever you start a formula in Excel, you have to start it with is equal to. Why? Because if I do not write is equal to, let's say I want to know what is 2 into 3. If I just write 2 into 3, it will not give me the answer. If I want to find out what is 5 plus 5, 5 5 plus 5. It again does not give me any answer. Now let's say I put is equal to in front of it. Is equal to 2 into 3. Now it gives me 6, right? Here also if I write is equal to 5 plus 5, it gives me the answer 10. So first of all, one thing that you have to keep in your mind is whenever you start a formula, start it with is equal to. So I write is equal to my present value, which is 10,000, into what is into? Into is shift plus 8. It gives you asterisk sign, which is multiplication sign for Excel. Bracket open, 1 plus 11% raised to the power 6. This is your answer. So if your 10,000 rupees grows at 11% for 6 years, eventually at maturity after 6 years, it becomes 18,704 rupees. So this is one way of finding it out. Another way of finding it out is through Excel formula. So let's do it through Excel formula, okay? Again, we'll do is equal to, do FV, tab or bracket open, go to FX, rate. What is your rate? Rate is 11%. So this is a window which opens up, okay? Whenever you are finding FV, PV or any other function through Excel, you write is equal to, you write function name, open your bracket, go to FX, click FX, this kind of function argument opens. Now it is asking you for some values. You enter those values and it will calculate FV for you, right? Because we have opened FV function. So in our question, what was our rate? Our rate was 11%. What was our NPER? Number of years was 6. What was our, so PMT, we have not discussed as yet. So you ignore PMT for now, go to PV. PV is 1,000 rupees. So write 1,000. Type also ignore for now because we have not discussed it. We'll discuss it later. Click on OK. So see, it gives you the same answer, 18704.416. The only difference is here it has given you the answer in minus. So minus is just a convention which is used by Excel to signify cash flows, right? So what convention you have to use, let me tell you this. Whenever you are talking about or using cash inflow, what is cash inflow? That money is coming into your pocket. Always keep the number in positive sign. Positive sign means don't put any sign in it. Enter the number as it is. Whenever you are talking about cash outflow, cash outflow means money is going out of your pocket, like you are paying any EMI, you are paying any SIP, right? You are doing any investment. These are cash outflows. Always write them in negative sign, in minus sign, okay? Let me give you example of cash inflow also. What can be cash inflow? For example, you have received a loan. You have withdrawn money from your investment, right? So these are cash inflows. Now here, if I use the same convention, this PV of 1,000 is not 1,000, it was 10,000, right? The PV of 10,000 is actually my investment. So investment means I have to put a minus sign here. When I'll put a minus sign, automatically Excel will understand that the 10,000 rupees was investment. So 18,704 is what I'll get in my pocket. That's why it has shown it in positive sign. All right. So I have told you two methods of finding out present value, future value. Similarly, let us find out present value also. Let's say my client needs 10 lakh rupees after 6 years. Or let's say, always we are talking about 6. So here, let's say after, not 6, but 5 years. My client needs 10 lakh rupees after 5 years. So how much to invest today? At 13% per annum. Let's say the interest that the client can earn in any investment is 13% per annum. So with that rate, how much investment should be done today? If, let me create timelines so that you can visualize it. So I will get 10 lakh rupees after 5 years. Okay. I'm earning 13% per annum. And I want to know how much to invest today. That is what I want to know is PV. Right? What all things do I have with me? I have future value, which is 10 lakh. I have rate, which is 13%. I have NPER, which is 5. Okay. And PV I'm trying to calculate. So let me go back to the function, to the formula. So again, this also I'll tell you in two ways. Okay. One is formula and one is Excel function. So if you want to do it through Excel function first, let's say, so go to write is equal to what I'm trying to find out PV this time. So I'll write PV. I'll write, sorry, I'll click tab or bracket open. I'll go to FX. Again, it's asking me some values. What is your rate? It is saying my rate for this question is 13%, right? 13% per annum. My number of years is 5. PMT, ignore for now. What is the value I'm going to get in the future? It is 10 lakhs. So now this money I'm going to get into my pocket. So I don't need negative sign here. Let it be positive. Type again, we have to ignore. And we can click on OK. So it says if you want 10 lakh rupees after 5 years, today you have to invest 5,42,759 at a rate of 13% per annum for 5 years. Okay, so this is one method. Another method is, let me go back to the formula. A is equals to P into 1 plus R percent raised T, right? Which I had converted into FV is equals to PV into 1 plus R rate percent raised to the power n per. Now from this function, instead of FV, this time what I want to find out is PV. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll reshuffle this formula. I'll bring this rate here in denominator, which is the basic maths, right? Which we all have done in our schools. So this function will become FV divided by 1 plus rate raised to the power n per is equal to PV. With this formula, I can find out PV. So again, it is formula. I'll start it with equal to. What is my future value? 10 lakh divided by bracket open 1 plus 13% raised to the power n per. N per is how much? 5, right? So see, same answer. So ignore this plus minus in the answers. It's not of much relevance. The minus plus minus is relevant when you are entering values in Excel function so that the function knows the direction of cash flow. That's it. So this is FV. So, okay, so for now, I think this is enough for today. I hope you have understood what we have discussed. You can solve more questions related to these topics to get a better understanding. In coming classes, we'll understand what is PMT, what is type, and some other terminologies also. That's all for now. Bye-bye. Good luck.